first time stopping by my channel, much love to you and loves my growing extended beautiful family. Just thank you so much for the support, heaviness of the burdens that we have bared to allow it to guide us towards bigger the blessings was definitely going to be peaking very soon in many ways. So, with that being said, much love to all. Namaste. Love and blessings, love and light. And many blessings are definitely coming your way. And if you have been watching my videos for a while and have not already, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell at the bottom so you know when I'm about to upload my next video. Also, if you're comfortable enough, drop me a line or two. I would love the chance to get to know you as much as you're getting to know me, even if it's about the positive feedback of the content of my video, or you're just up telling me about your empathic gift, how it impacted your life, and heading you towards a positive direction. And if you feel like the videos are very informative, spiritual guidance, or just needing confirmation or validation towards life path, or even soul purposes, please go ahead and share. While you're at it, give your girl a thumbs up, like, and also share on your social media favorites wherever you see fit. And thank you once again for the love and support. It's greatly appreciated on many levels. And I hope that you're able to resonate with the content of my video. And the meditation music that I'm listening to in the background is called Powerful Meditation, Law of Attraction, Manifestation, Positive Energy, Manifest Deep Sleep, Music 528 Hertz. And it's by the channel Supernatural Brainwave Power. I'm doing this called Twin Flame 101. Heyokas, you are the sign you have always looked for. And it is so true. You know how we can say it in mantras, we can say it in affirmations, we can do it while we're meditating, asking the universe for a sign of different things taking place in our life, signs that if we're on the right path, or signs that is needing to know the depth of our understanding of um, our spiritual path. And you know, they always say whatever you're looking for is already searching for you as well, and whatever you're needing is always coming from within. You are that strength. You know, when you need that that basically the patience to endure a lot of things. You are that patient, and a lot of times it's hard for us to be able to see that when we're dealing with so many overwhelming issues and circumstances, whether it has to do with our love life, a karmic cycle of partnership, financial burdens that we are really trying our hardest to being able to have faith in those things. And at times it's kind of hard when you're enduring a lot of different things in your life that you truly want, because it reflects you have that power to overcome. It reflects the strength you have, remembering and reminding yourself of your true being, of who you are, where everything was masked up under illusion of perception, negativity, sadness, anger, confusion, common, cultural conditioning, emotional conditioning, programming, all those different things was buried under that, over and through that light that was always bright, and a lot of times you have what it takes to get through this. And I have to allow myself to, remind myself of that often, with things that I'm going through. And, this is not the month that's really good for me because of, my dad and my as well as my best friend that passed away, like, a few years, what was it, like 6 years apart in a day, 6 years and one day apart. So it was to strengthen me when it was hard for me to see it within myself. I would see a lot of things, but it had to me really being in that solitude, that moment of solitude, just to be able to reflect, is like, look at everything, the constant pain. It's like happiness that I had, or even the success I had, was always short lived. When people seen that I was doing good in my life and they were triggered by that, they would constantly find ways to try to sabotage that, distract or block. And at times they would use different techniques to allow me to do the same within myself. And I had to allow myself to really step away from that, allowing myself to acknowledge you have what it takes. Don't allow people from their insecurity, if they see the goodness in you, and a lot of times they see it before you do. A lot of times they can see your blessings before you do, and you'll know that when people from your past that really, has really did you wrong, or you seen they were just there for a benefit of you, you will start seeing those things because they're coming back to resurface, because they see that big things are about to come your way, or if they weren't threatened by you, they wouldn't be trying so hard to distract you from the things that you rightfully deserve. And it took me a while to see that, you know, and it took me a long time to be able to change that as well. Allow myself to be humble for everything that's taking place when I was not allowing myself to give myself credit. Being able to know that even anything that came good to me, these are things that I was deserving of. If you have been living a life where anything that was good coming to your life, it was always snatched away or it ended abruptly. These are the things that you had to experience it for a while, and then it was just like universe constantly reminding you of better things are yet to come. These are things that you truly wanted, but we have better things that's what is needed in your life that will last longer than what you were guided to in your life that was very had a very short uh time in your life. And a lot of times, like I said, it's hard to see that when you're going through a lot. You're going through a intense transition that's taking place, remembering who you are, remember why you came here, allowing yourself to not be bothered from the people that have turned their back on you, but also them turning their back on you was the fact that you were unaware of. They heard the things that was taking place. They seen the deception that was happening behind your back that they blindly, made sure that they cloaked themselves so you wouldn't see. And a lot of times we feel like, I miss that person in my life, or I really wish they were here to celebrate these good things for me. And you don't realize that those situations or those people would have probably sabotaged you or kept you from things that was truly deserving in your life. And you had to go through those series of circumstances to be able to see that in your own reflecting. Everything that you were looking for on the external was the ones that was always constantly in the internal. You had to allow yourself, universe, when you don't allow yourself to go in that solitude, to go through self-reflection, allowing yourself to heal where it needs to be, allowing yourself to and you are stronger than you realize. You're a lot. You that you need something very bad in your life. They will show you what is not important. They know that you need monetary value to be in your life to be able to survive, but they also want you to see that doesn't make everything happy for you. It's like, even though, yes, my dad always said, they say money don't bring you happiness, but it'll definitely pay for the search. So you had to be able to allow yourself to know even the richest people can be the most saddest ones as well. And you're like, well, hell, I'd rather be that type of rich, and be a little bit sad than being the sadness that I'm dealing with, but not being you're actually rich in from the soul. Everything that you hold is very valuable, it's very priceless. And then sometimes it's hard to see that when we're seeing others that's living a good life, or they don't have that much of a struggle as you do. Trust and believe they got issues, that maybe we don't even know that they're fighting against. A lot of the times when we see that, like, we had wish we had that type of issues, but everything happens you really need to struggle long. But a lot of times when that happens that way, their blessings don't last that long either. You have to allow yourself to see that as well. Everything that you're going through right now, or even when you needed assistance from your peers or family members and they didn't show you that support, this was something that had to tell you, you and you alone are enough to get where you need to get. The decisions you make, the sacrifices you need to get to grow. Allow yourself to grow through your mistakes, grow through your hardship, grow through the bad mistakes that you have made in the past that will help you for a better future. A lot of times we feel like, wow, we had to go through these trials and tribulations, but when you finally get to where you need to be, they wanted you to experience those things, not just to hold on to, but being able to remember just from certain situations that you allowed yourself to be placed in. You had to learn and grow from that. So when it comes up again, you know, they'll see if you learned your lesson from the first time you went through that or the second time you went through that. Because there's blessings that are coming in your life. It's like a once in a lifetime thing, and that's the reason why it's heading that way. They're showing you many signs that things are getting better for you in your life, but you have to have faith and trust within yourself, confidence within yourself, as ways that things are changing for your better benefit. And a lot of times change is not comfortable. There's things that will constantly challenge you. There will be constantly things like it feels like the rug is constantly getting snatched from up under you, and those are the things that are going to strengthen you. Like I said in my video yesterday, everything that's sent for is already from above. within. There's stats where I've seen people that go, instead of feeling their void, they're filling their void through exterior and not through interior. A lot of times people go searching for happiness with other people, or feeling like we need somebody to save us from those things. And you become your own superhero. You looking for something and they just show you the mirror every time. It's like a European Vacation. If anybody ever heard of that movie called European Vacation with Chase and he kept on when I think there was like something like that. And no matter what direction they turn, it keep on guiding them back to that same circle. And that's what we have to go through emotionally and mentally and spiritually when you're on your way of going through powerful evolution. What is it? Am I saying it right? Evolution. That's what I meant to say. And elevating. I was saying those two words at the same time. We're going through those to get heightened a lot of times when we allow ourselves to be fed by our ego or our insecurities. We may make all these decisions, keep taking you right back to that one. And it's a lot of times you have to allow yourself to step aside and allow universe to do it. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna let you do it, but then don't be surprised if it leads you right back to that same spot again. And a lot of times we don't realize the more we have to repeat it, the heavier it gets. So you have to allow yourself to, not stand in the way of that. Now, like I said, I gotta remind myself those things is too, and a lot of times it's like things is taking place in my life. I tend to have a heavy heart on what's taking place because I can see certain things that will come to me, and and you'll know when you're being tested because it'll get very quiet where it comes to that thing. It's like, oh, okay, are you gonna learn from what we showed you in the past? And because a lot of times I will go out my way to make sure I show people that I'm not, lying about anything or having a prove a point. But it's just like, why are you going to do that? Because people going to only, either they're going to see you through your ego, they're going to see you through your insecurities, or they're going to see their own perception of how they want to see their level of perception. And it's at that time you shouldn't even have to worry about that. You know what's real in your life. You know what's not real in your life. You know what you're trying to go for. They don't see your worth, and you have to be able to see your worth regardless. You are everything that you've been looking for on the outside. And a lot of times you had to go through those experiences to take place, and that was God's gift. As soon as I said that, start tickling like I don't know what. Um, when you're going through those things, you had to experience those things. Being able to go upside down, your life is flipped up upside down, from everything. You feel broken because they needed to do that. That's what they were sent in your life to do. They had to tear your world apart. They had to flip your world upside down, and it would be people that you truly loved, and it had to be that person or those people that had to truly break you away just to remind you of who you truly are and appreciate that. Be appreciative of, of them, of what they have done, even when it hurt to the core. It took me a long time. Like I've said, the things that I went through, and it's like for the past few days, God has allowed me, a universe as well as my spirit guides and my loved ones that I hold dear to me, that's been helping me from the other side, has really shown me, you're a strong person. Even though you may be going through a lot of things right now, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. My faith gets shaky at times when I'm dealing with so many different things at one time, and I get overwhelmed and I get tired. I will pray to God and tell in tears, saying, I'm tired. I'm broken. I feel broken through my spirit. I feel broken through, my mentality. My heart feels drained, because of all the things that I've gone through where I felt life was not fair. People shouldn't have got away with the things that they've gotten for so long. And it's just like constantly, my dad was like telling me, I'm always here, you're not going through this alone. And I will feel that comfort, with him rubbing me on my back, or, feeling like he's giving me a hug, or I'll feel a kiss at my forehead. And, even with my mom and my best friends, they know that what I'm going through is not easy. It's not easy because I'm allowing myself to be publicly, judged for that, even though I mean, people's judgment doesn't matter to me. But it's like my experiences of hardship and, pain and trauma is going to end up being somebody else's blessing, to let them know you're never alone when you're dealing with things, even when you do feel like you're alone. These are the things you had to go through, even the worst pain, to be able to tell you. You don't always have to live in that way. You don't have to live in the shadow of that pain. You don't have to live in the prison of that, because when you feel like you're in a prison and you're stuck and you're in going through stagnation, it's just because you're going against your truth, going against what they show you that is real. And it's not pretty. What they reflect, even when I was praying today, I had to be thankful for that. And I cried so hard because, I'm grateful for the hands that they have laid upon me at times where I just say, today I was going to take a break. And then when I open my computer up today and seeing all those messages that's dropped by, telling me, hey, Roslynn, I felt this way. And then all of a sudden that you popped up and put a video, or you popped up and put a post. These are the things that I needed. And that's what keeps me going. When I feel like, what, you need to recharge, I'm allowing myself to do that, because sometimes I'll push in and then I'll start stumbling on my words, saying, okay, y'all know what I mean. Is that because I allow myself to really be pushed in? It's like, you can't pour from an empty cup. So I had to allow myself to really reflect on things, and they want you to do the same thing, to really see yourself as you look in the mirror. I used to hate doing that, because it was like, when I reflected so many things that people didn't want to be bothered with, or they didn't want to believe, or it was a painful reminder of, when they see me, they see my dad, and those are the things I used to shy away from. Or when I started gaining weight, I didn't want to look in the mirror, because I remember of being physically fit. But I had to go through, I went through my depression, I went through emotional eating, and gain, some pounds off of that, because it was like, of, dealing with a lot of things, dealing with pain, dealing with sorrow, feeling like I was in a world of my own, because there were so many people that placed their hand on greed, that they were willing to, they didn't care about, my mentality, my children, even when I, mental, you know, uh, mentality, or anything of me being hurt and just needing that peace in my life of closure, that it was, that money was worth all that, and they didn't care who they hurt when they did that. And that, that really hurt me. It really did. And it had to allow myself to say, don't become them. Don't think money is what is going to constantly bring you happiness, because when it's all gone, then what? You have to know that, everything is not what it seems, even when it may feel like, people are getting away with absolute murder, no pun intended. But it was just like, I would carry around that sadness and anger about somebody switching my dad's pills out, knowing that he was in constant pain, and it wasn't just in the physical sense because of the surgery he had, or jumping off of constant, speakers. I'm like, see, will you stop jumping off of stuff? But it's just when people see that they're threatened by your success, they're threatened by your strength, they are threatened by the love people have for you, and how you would influence them through your words, your story of life. He does it through his songs. Mine is just from the painful experiences that I've went through, just because of me being related to him, you know and going through those things, it has not been easy. There's some days I still cry about that. And and I just keep constantly asking God to give me that strength to get through that, because it's not easy. It really isn't. But I have to allow myself to take one day at a time, knowing that everything I went through, it was a heavy burden to bear. But being able to know that, my traumatic experiences became other people's blessings. You know, being able to know everything that I searched for from other people, it was always within myself. And people understood me when I can be honest about the mistakes I've made, the way I've constantly hurt myself and belittled myself because I didn't get that love, the way I seen it, or it was just somebody who loved me the most was kept away physically. And my constant heart, it beats, but it's also in pain, you know, because it was something I was never able to physically achieve. You know, constantly always having to see, visions of, things in the past for me to be able to see my dad smiling, telling me he constantly loved me, even though I heard it spiritually and telepathically, but wanting that connection in the physical aches my heart a lot at times, but I have to tell myself he is not in any more pain. Yeah, I'm sorry. But being able to know that he's done a lot for the world. He's done a lot that people didn't know. And I constantly am proud of him for all the things he's done, because he was the type of person that did things under radar. And it's just like, since his passing, there's a lot of people that are coming out and saying how my dad helped them financially, helped them emotionally, spiritually. With his songs has helped them get through. It's done it for me, you know. But it was a lot, differently. He always tells me, don't cry. I'm always here. It's like, if you want to touch your heart, that's you touch your heart and you think of me and I'll feel that. you know I've always lived there in your heart. I was constantly, when I touched him in my dreams and in his heart, I said, that's where your happiness stays. And I constantly seen him look at me, and tears poured down, and he was like, yeah, you know where it is, but a lot of people don't. And he masked a lot of things with other people, and he didn't do that with me. He allowed himself to be about that. Even though I've healed, it still is at that point, a father and a daughter's relation. And I live every day with that, but I understand that's where my strength comes from. Even when you want so much to say, there's sometimes, and everything that I searched for, everything I thought I wasn't, I was always there, ways, still try to, when they see that, even when they try to murder me or try to keep me silent through pain, I didn't allow that. God didn't allow it to happen. And I appreciate that, you know. And then I constantly speak through my visions. I speak through the premonitions and the life lessons they want me to shed, not just upon myself, but others as well. And a lot of times you feel alone. Your heart carries a heavy burden because you've endured a lot. I allow myself with me. And I don't feel like, I've been invaded in my thoughts. I've been to where people have violated me in an emotional way by, making me forget things that was truly precious to me. And I got angry for that. And I used to ask God, if you love me, why would you allow them to do that to me? Because those are the things all I had was from my family, from my dad. Myself, this reflects the strength you have. You get those back and not be angry for what they did. Even when your dad didn't understand, they told my dad I didn't want to be with him. It was all about his money. It wasn't. But these are the things that has made me so much stronger, you know. And when I see it every day, I feel my strength, because it's like I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable in that way, letting people know what I've went through, the things I've endured. There's a lot of things I don't, because it hurts too much to allow my, get that strength to keep going on, because there's sometimes I just want to walk away because it hurts too much. But then it's just like, you're allowing them to win. Don't do that. Allow your burdens to be reflected towards others, but don't reflect it as burdens, but reflect it as strength that you had to endure. You have to go through pain or appreciate the love that you have with others as well as within yourself. When you allow yourself to vibe high and give yourself that unconditional love, people can't bother you or can't poke and pry at you the way they do, because of the love that your father had for you, the music that he has brought out, where he reflected that to you, to hopefully it'll get to you for you to know But, I didn't get to hear all those things until after you died. So that was something I really, it hurt to the core to do. But, I had to allow myself to know things aren't in vain the way you think they are. Things aren't the way they seem. That spiritual love has always been there. That telepathic love has always been there. That conditional, unconditional love that I say I'm a spiritual being, but I'm living a human experience. So yes, you will carry heavy emotions when you heal. Even though I know I've healed from a lot of things, it still, it touches my heart because you would never, I can never see myself doing that. I can never sleep at night knowing that I kept my child away from their parent just because they got that love that I never received. I don't have a heart to do that because I felt like, if if I knew what that felt like, I would never want my child to feel like that. I never want my child to do that. So everything that I constantly look for, it was reflected all that time. Way had to remind me of that. Even though there are so many times I stayed standing. You know, and I'm very grateful for that. Very grateful for everything and everyone that has participated in that growth with me. Being able to have my transformation to be, you know, how it took long, but I can appreciate everything that has taken place along the way because it allowed me to love myself when other people weren't doing that, or allow myself not to be bothered by other people that believe, because no one is just like, no matter what people try to project towards me about my well-being, or trying to uh, give me doubt that things weren't true, try to discredit, it spoke volumes about them, but it was never about me, and I had to really appreciate that. So I hope that you were able to resonate with the content of this video. Y'all forgetting, it took a lot for me not to cry, but I didn't want to unleash it the way I felt it. So, you have to be vulnerable sometimes, and I hate being vulnerable like that. But universe made me do it. I'm like, don't make me do that no more. It's like, no, they need you. You do a lot of things that they do behind closed doors, and they need you to know that you need to show them, we sent you to show them that it's okay to be that way. It's okay to acknowledge your sadness. It's okay to acknowledge your emotions that has really placed you in that dark place. But being able to know when you're allowing yourself to feel that, face it, reflect it, but you're also releasing it as well. So I hope you were able to resonate with the content of my video, y'all. I love y'all to death. Thank you so much for the constant support that y'all been giving me. It's truly appreciated. I would love to give a post notification shout out to Seti S. Sin and Annie one, or Annie I apologize, and Treasured Seasons as well. Much love to y'all, and Mike Latimer. Much love to you as well. If you're new to the channel, welcome. It's so good to have you. Um, if you've been here for a while, thank you for the constant support. It's truly appreciated. Like and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share, tell somebody about the channel. Um, Drop a line. I would love to give you a post notification shout out. If you need to get in touch with me personally, that you would love for me to help you with your spiritual path, I would have to have the Facebook page to have that. They have a separate app for that now, that you don't have both just to have that. So you can contact me there. Let me know the name you go by, and how you connect with me on either YouTube or Heyoka, part of the family. I'm not accepting any friend requests right now, but if you have to do it that way, I have to allow myself to get to know you a lot better before I, start, allowing myself to let people deeper in my life like that. Because there's been a lot of people that's, approached me that did not have my better interest at heart. So I just tell people, instead of them punishing them for something they didn't have no control, confidential, and I'll try my best to help you out the best way I know. I can. No, I know how. If not, I can go ahead and get the information that will help you, send you towards the way that you truly need it. Know that you are loved and highly favored. And you're very much of a blessing, and know that there's always somebody praying out there for your better days. And I pray that everything you're trying to change or manifest into your life comes 1,000 times more than what you asked for, what you expected, or even what you have prayed for. And I hope it comes so much sooner than you also expected as well. So, you know, make sure you give out love, light, positivity words, prosperity words, vibes, and frequencies. Um, you never know, those can really take somebody a long way. And I will see you on my next video. Much love to you. Peace and be well.